Sit somewhere quiet for a second and try to do absolutely nothing. No phone, no music, no podcast drifting through the background. Just you, the room, and silence. Most people can't last 3 minutes. And the strange part is that discomfort, that crawling, restless feeling that starts climbing up your spine the moment nothing is demanding your attention, has a name. Boredom. And for most of human history, it essentially didn't exist. Not because ancient humans were always running from predators, but because the kind of hollow emptiness that produces modern boredom requires something ancient humans never had: a life disconnected from consequence. Imagine you're a hunter-gatherer living 35,000 years ago. You wake up before sunrise. The fire beside you has burned low overnight. The air is cold enough that you can see your breath. Around you, your group is already beginning to stir. Maybe 20, maybe 30 people you've known your entire life. And immediately, without anyone telling you, you already know exactly what today demands. Food has to be found. Water has to be carried back. Children have to be watched every moment. Tools have to be repaired before the next hunt. The weather has to be read carefully. A wound on someone's leg has to be checked before infection takes hold. An argument from yesterday has to be quietly managed before it damages the group's ability to function together. Every single moment of your day is threaded directly into survival. Your attention is not something you manage or protect or schedule into time blocks. It's something the world around you constantly, urgently, and automatically requires from you. There is no gap between you and reality. Now, come back to the present. You wake up. Food appears from a box in a cold machine. Water comes from a pipe in the wall. You face no predators. Your children are at a building specifically designed to occupy them for 7 hours. Your tools charge overnight. Your shelter demands nothing from you except a number transferred invisibly between institutions once a month. And in the space left behind by all those solved problems, something moved in. Boredom. But here's the part most people miss entirely. Boredom is not simply the absence of things to do. Psychologists describe it as a very specific emotional state, a restless, almost painful desire for stimulation that feels meaningful, combined with an inability to find it. Ancient humans weren't protected from boredom because their lives were full of activity. They were protected because their environment constantly delivered exactly what the human brain evolved to want: presence, stakes, real feedback, immediate consequence. When an ancient human tracked an animal, every single footprint mattered. Every snapped twig gave information. The wind direction changed the entire strategy. The brain was fully engaged, not because it chose to be, but because the cost of disengagement was real, visible, and close. Neuroscientists studying human attention have found something interesting. The brain reaches its deepest state of engagement not during passive entertainment, but during tasks that sit right at the edge of a person's current ability, difficult enough to demand complete focus, achievable enough to keep going. Ancient life delivered this constantly, not as a productivity technique or a wellness practice, but as a simple requirement of staying alive. Your brain was built for that world. It is running that exact same ancient hardware right now, inside a world that looks nothing like the environment that shaped it. And this mismatch has real consequences. Rates of anxiety, depression, and what psychologists call meaning deficiency have climbed steadily across the wealthiest, safest, most comfortable societies in recorded human history. Countries where physical survival is essentially guaranteed consistently show some of the highest rates of existential emptiness. This is not a coincidence. It is a signal. But before you decide that ancient life was simply better, you need to sit inside it more honestly. Ancient humans were not bored. They were also terrified. A child running a fever in a world without medicine was a crisis without a solution. A failed hunt was not a disappointing afternoon. It was a countdown. A broken leg did not mean 6 weeks in a cast and a follow-up appointment scheduled on your phone. It could mean a slow death as the group was forced to keep moving without you. The absence of boredom came packaged with a level of ambient dread that modern humans can barely imagine sitting with. Every single day contained the genuine possibility of losing someone, a mother, a child, a person who carried knowledge no one else had and could not be replaced. The fire that kept you warm at night was also the only barrier between your sleeping body and the darkness full of things designed by evolution to hunt you. Ancient humans didn't experience boredom, but they experienced grief, terror, and helplessness at a frequency and intensity that would break most modern people within weeks. So the question becomes more complicated than it first appeared. We didn't drift into boredom accidentally. We created the conditions for it deliberately. Every technology humans have ever built has been an attempt to push consequence further away. Fire pushed predators back. Agriculture pushed starvation back. Medicine pushed death back. Automation pushed labor back. And with every step that consequence retreated, a little more of the raw engagement that ancient life provided disappeared along with it. We solved the problems, and then inherited the emptiness where the problems used to be. Think about what children naturally do when left completely alone without screens or structured activities. They build things from whatever they can find. They invent games with elaborate rules that didn't exist an hour ago. They explore whatever environment surrounds them with a focused intensity that most adults have entirely forgotten how to access. They manufacture stakes. They create consequence in miniature because the brain reaches for it instinctively, even when the environment no longer provides it naturally. Adults do exactly the same thing, just less honestly. Extreme sports exist because some part of the human brain simply refuses to accept a world without real physical risk. People construct elaborate professional conflicts, social dramas, and emotional chaos that looks completely irrational from the outside, but makes perfect evolutionary sense once you understand what the brain is actually hungry for. Gambling is compelling, not despite its uncertainty, but because of it. The brain craves real stakes so desperately that it will generate artificial ones rather than go without. Your boredom is not weakness. It is not laziness. It is not a personality flaw you should be embarrassed about. It is an ancient brain sending a signal it was designed to send and finding nothing in the modern environment capable of answering it properly. Which raises something worth sitting with. If the human brain evolved to engage with a world of constant consequence, real stakes, and immediate feedback, and if the modern world has systematically dismantled all of those things, what exactly are we supposed to do with it? Some researchers believe the answer is not to recreate ancient suffering. It is to deliberately reintroduce what boredom is actually asking for. Skill development, where something real is at stake. Creative work with genuinely uncertain outcomes. Physical challenges that demand complete presence. Community obligations that genuinely matter to other people. Not manufactured busyness. Not scrolling faster or queuing up another video. The actual thing, the uncomfortable truth is that most modern boredom is not asking for more entertainment. It is asking for more reality. And perhaps the most unsettling part of all this is not what boredom feels like. It is what it means. An ancient human who felt disconnected from their environment, who felt no urgency, no engagement, no sense that their actions carried real consequence. That person